up, everybody? I'm in Los Angeles, California. My name is Dave Anderson. That is Mike Vick. He's in Virginia. Are you in Miami?
Yeah,
oh, that's right. You are in Miami today.
Just like I'm in Miami, just like I'm in Virginia.
Just like you're in Virginia. We are here, Gaming Society, week 14, Mike Vick. Week 14. We are creeping through the season. I don't know. This is the time of the year where
you run the football.
Where you run the football, but like what I think what always struck me about this time when I was playing professional football was this is when normal football is over, right? College football is over, high school football is over. You're over right after Thanksgiving. You might have a playoff game. This is like the three most important games of the season of professional football. So this really theoretically separates the men from the boys. I don't know how you handled this part of your career. Like your first year, people forget you played 20 games basically your first year.
Yeah, come December, you either thinking about January and what the path going to be to get the January playoffs, or you thinking about where you going the first week of your vacation. And I always like to be on the side of thinking about who that opponent was going to be first round, or the road travel to get to the first round.
Well, they say on TNT, gone fishing.
What's that?
On TNT, when they say you're gone fishing, you're thinking about where you're going to have that fishing trip. Yep.
Fishing.
And I'll tell you what, if our all-in picks relied on us making the playoffs, we would be gone fishing because Mike, you lost last week. I lost last week. We are now both 4-5. You know what? Like Davis told us this, our producer Davis, when we say our all-in picks, they're so believable.
Yeah, man. I mean,
we might need to fact check ourselves a little bit, but you lost the Niners. The Niners lost to Seattle. I didn't see that coming.
You know what, man? And for real, that's my fault because I shouldn't bet against Russell Wilson. Right now, the chips are down for Russ, and he ain't feeling it. And I should have thought about that, and I should have moved on. Maybe I should have picked, let me see, what's my recollection. Who played Jacksonville? The Rams. I should have known that they was going to come back strong.
Or the Cardinals. We both thought we were both high on the Cardinals, talking about Kyler Murray coming back. We didn't know if he was going to play, but that's definitely part of like maybe what impressed us week 13. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I lost too. I had Cincy -3 over the Chargers. That wasn't even close.
That was a good game.
That was a good football game.
Let me just say this. If people who watch football didn't understand how turnovers can play a factor in the game, that was the prime example.
What in what way?
Jamar Chase. So Jamar Chase dropped the touchdown pass. Joe Burrow, beautiful throw, right side. It was a go route. Hit him right in the hands and just popped up. And then the cornerback picked it. And then like late in the fourth quarter, a fumble right off a handoff from the running back, picked up, scoop and score. Like it just changed the whole dynamic of the game. Every time since he got some rhythm, a mistake happened and then the Chargers capitalized, but you know that's football. That's how you lose games.
The one thing whenever you talk about the differences between Major League Baseball, basketball, and NFL football players. In the NFL, if you and I made a mistake on the field, say I was Jamar Chase and I dropped that pass, it would have been a touchdown. Now it's taken back the other way. That's a 14-point swing, which is really hard to get. In basketball, if I turn the ball over, whatever, he picks me and dunks the ball, 4-point swing, maybe 6 at the worst.
Yeah.
That's not that bad. We can make that back. We have a hell of a time. Baseball, I strike out 2 out of 3 times anyway, and I'm still fine. People forget how critical those errors are, and which is why people always talk about fundamental football when players, sometimes they sound so cliche, but it is so important.
Yeah, we got a different type of pressure in our game, and when you look at the monetary, you know, I see why a lot of guys struggle. I see why a lot of guys struggle. Like, what struggle can easily be, man? Nah, I'm only making X amount of dollars, and I got to go out and take on this.
Yep.
No, so you got to stay super focused.
Yeah, and then add in the physicality. It can be a beast. But all that being said, you know, we covered a couple of teams there. Who did impress you week 13?
Who impressed me week 13? I would have to say Dallas, because right out the gate, you know, it didn't look good for Dallas. And then,
No.
They put on a touchdown drive and he was like, oh, now they back. That's the Dallas Cowboys team I was used to seeing, early in the season. And then they started to flutter a little bit and nothing happened and the game got boring and there was no movement on their side of the ball. And thank God that the Saints couldn't move the ball because, it might have got ugly. And then, the defense won the game. But I felt like that was like the total team win.
Yeah.
That's if you're gonna win a game sometimes, because the offense can't carry you every week. Sometimes the defense got to carry. And at this juncture in the season, I think the defense should carry the offense a little more.
Yeah, you're going to run into some issues. We'll talk about with weather or whatnot. That what happens that your defense has got to step up in certain scenarios. But that was definitely a case where they stepped up the whole game. I want to say the Washington football team was my biggest surprise week 13, beating the Raiders. I was pretty high on the Raiders. We were low on them after the John Gruden thing, but they're still an incredibly talented football team. They're still beating good teams. They're still in the hunt in the AFC West, doing some impressive stuff, beating those guys. I was down on Washington, and they just keep sneaking up and biting teams in the butt. They're not going to do anything really, I don't think, in the NFC East, but or playoffs, but they are ruining some people's seasons, which is fun. It makes football fun week 14, 15, 16.
And I'll be remiss if I don't say this. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Man, that was an epic finish.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, every guy who contributed to that win, man. Like, we hate seeing teams lose. We hate seeing teams being 0-11 and whatever the case may be. So when you see some success like that, man, you got to appreciate it and respect it.
I hear you, because those are pros giving it all they have every week. They're getting their heads knocked in.
It's not about the check. It's not about the check at that point. Trust me.
Yeah,
trust me.
But you know what? All those were fun games, but I think the easily the most watched football game this week was this Bills Patriots football game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You're probably gonna need 1,000 questions this week. Throwing 3 passes.
It was beautiful.
3. Okay.
It was
Continue
beautiful.
On. Continue. How could because here. All right, I'm not even gonna comment. Go on. Go. Run with this for a second before I go.
To come in and run the football every play the way they did was like, I don't think it was a form of disrespect. It was like, this is our game plan, and we feel like we better than you on this side of the ball. You got to look at the film and say, we're going to come into this game probably, the day before, because you get the conditions, the conditions and what it's going to be.
Sure.
You got to come into the team room and say, we're going to pound the football tomorrow. We're probably going to run it 90% of the time, so get ready. That's the only way you get ready for that.
Yeah.
And for them to pull that off, man, that was amazing. We ain't never seen nothing like that.
I've never even heard of anything like that, right? Like they talk about Super Bowl modern era. You even look at, I played against Air Force every year, and it was the most boring game to watch. It was just first round run, second down run. They go on 4th down every time when they cross the 35, because this option, I know they can get 3 yards, option play the whole way down the field. And you're like, where can we steal a possession? First of all, Belichick trolled all of us by wearing the Navy football mask at the before and after the game. But the discipline and the team mentality to pull that off is what impressed me. Yes, to call the plays, but like I watched a bunch of the Manning podcast, the Manning cast, to kind of see what they were saying. Because I just refuse to believe if Belichick came to you and said, Mike, hey, you're gonna hand the ball off, 42 times, and you're gonna throw 3. You'd be like, Coach, I can throw it out here. I'm fine. I can do this. Trust me. And he's like, I do trust you, but I trust that we're gonna win if we do this. Don't you trust me? You got to kind of, I guess, you gotta go down for the team, right? I don't know.
It'll be 50 years before we see a game plan like that again. Or if Bill Belichick decides that the team he's playing, if it's inclement weather and this is what we got to do, they're going to do it, because that was a mindset. That's a mindset that rubs off from the coaches to the players, man. Like, this is what we about to do. It had to be fun.
What was the worst what do you call it, weather game you played in your whole career?
My NFC Championship game, 8 degrees in Philadelphia. and I guess like what was it like? It's like hailing. I don't know what I mean. It was like not even they weren't flurries because they was like hard ice balls falling. It was ice balls falling.
I'm sure that wasn't the crowd throwing them at
ice
you.
balls falling in. I mean, you got a condo in South Beach. You like, man.
Did you guys win?
I really want
to win.
We lost. No, we didn't. That game was the closest I got to playing in the Super Bowl, and that season 2004 was easy, real quick. It was easy to get to the championship game. We just happened to run into Philly, who was good, and I just really thought we was gonna get back because it was so easy to get there, but I found out the hard way.
I played in college. I played a game at Air Force where, no joke, we called a dig route, like a old school 18-yard in.
Yeah.
And I saw our quarterback shot put it to me. Like it was in that, and he threw it. We completed it, but he knew he couldn't throw it. And I'm like, throw it early because I'm not going to break down. I'm just going to kind of like
roll into it,
roll this thing in there because it was soft snow, so it was really slippery. Right. Their guy falls. I'm running and I look like I'm catching on ice skates because I'm taking all these little steps. I catch it, get tackled, but it's less of the playing, it's the hitting each other in the cold, which is miserable.
It's the contact
with the ground, because the ground is really hard, like way harder than normal, and then the men are freezing cold. Is bad.
I played in the 0 degree game too.
I played 0 degree Green Bay.
0 degrees in Chicago, and that was brutal. That was tough.
Oh, well,
I don't miss it.
You know what? And they give guys like us a lot of crap. Virginia played in the South, didn't play in the cold. California boy, whatever, surfer, never played a game in the rain. We're fine. Yeah. You just go out there. The hardest part to me was always getting out of the locker room. You're like, we're gonna do this. You're like, we're gonna do this. I have no options.
You know what?
We're gonna do this.
I went out the day before the 0 degree game in Chicago, and this lady was pushing her baby, and baby had like on a hoodie, and it was like 9 degrees, and I'm like, oh, if the baby can do it, I'm gonna be all right tonight. I was in warm-ups 35 seconds, and they had to bring me to the locker room to thaw my hand out. I was thinking about the baby, like, yo, she's way tougher than me.
Davis, I don't know what we're gonna do for the intro to this, but if there's not a baby in a hoodie with snow, you better put that out there.
The baby, she was tough, man. Let me tell you, Chicago people, they different.
Yeah, they are. But all this happened. Obviously, Patriots beat the Bills. Not a huge shift in what's going on in the AFC. Just those two teams shuffle around. I think they're both going to make the playoffs. But the biggest change was Baltimore losing to Pittsburgh. Now everything flip-flops. You got Patriots at 9-4, Tennessee 8-4, Baltimore 8-4, Kansas City 8-4, the Chargers 7-5, Cincy 7-5, and now Buffalo falls at 7-5. Right, so you got all your divisions represented there, and your two playoff teams, two wildcard teams. Who do you like? Instead of asking, do you think anyone's going to flip-flop within division? Do you think Patriots win the East? Do you think Tennessee wins the South? Do you think Baltimore still wins the North? And do you think Kansas City still wins the West?
Yes.
You do?
Okay. Let me see. Hold up. The AFC South.
Tennessee, Jacksonville.
Comes out of that division.
Yeah, there's not going to be Jacksonville.
It's only division in question.
Okay, yeah. And then Patriots probably still out of the East.
Yes.
Okay, Baltimore still out of the North?
Yep.
Okay. Kansas City still out of the West, which Kansas City West makes no sense, but that's where they are. Okay. So then you have Chargers, Cincy, Buffalo. I think those are still right. I don't know who it's the parity in this league is crazy.
The parity is crazy. Everybody's kind of like undecided on if they want to take over the division or not. And in order to take over the division, you got to win the divisional games. So, these things, they dropping games, winning games. Last night was a prime example. That was an opportunity for Buffalo to take control.
The only one that I would throw out there that is a big question mark for me is the Colts. They're 7-6.
Yeah, and they really good. 7-6.
Yep, and they have a bye, right? So they only have 7 wins. So they're technically 2 games behind the Titans still. The they're going to play them. So we'll run into it. They might sneak in and get ahead of someone like the Bengals. So that would be my only team that might get in there, but I'm not.
I'm rooting for them. I mean,
they got John. Well, I know why you're rooting for them is because they got their running back that
I'm glad
you never drafted.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Putting that out there, but he's mine, and we doing good. But you said that so I can substitute him in this week, because I know I'm on a win streak and nobody really want to help me out right now. So
no, yeah, you know what? You're on your own come playoff season, right? Like you can either go fishing or you come into the playoffs. But up next, we got to talk a little bit of Tom Brady, but we're going to skip over Tom Brady. Tom Brady is now, I think, 64 years old. He's 1 year away from getting his Social Security check. Guy's still balling. Still looks like he's 25. I don't know. I need to get on the Tom TB12 diet. I drink. I probably we'll get into why I look older later. But what's really interesting is a lot of this AFC and NFC shakeup has gone on and really changed the outlook of anyone challenging Tom Brady for the MVP. Right now, Tom Brady is plus 175.
Okay.
Who do you think is second in the MVP race? I'm just going to start there. Who do you think is second in the MVP race?
Second in the MVP race right now, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Now, Tom Brady is plus 175, like I mentioned. So basically a 2-to-1 odds.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, what do you think? Obviously worse odds to win MVP. How much worse?
You said Tom was 3-to-1 odds?
2-to-1. 2-to-1, basically.
2-to-1? I'm going to say 8-to-1.
6-to-1. Pretty damn good. You're exactly right. Plus 600. Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and the first non-quarterback is?
First non-quarterback, Micah Parsons.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor.
Shout out to Jonathan Taylor.
He's been giving you a lot. He's going to get a lot of love on this show. But I like Micah Parsons in there because I do feel like defensive guys don't get a lot of love for MVP, even though they should. But do you see anyone like, is this Tom Brady? Should the bet be Tom Brady or the field at this point? Like, is he the
Tom Brady in the field for sure? Tom the front runner, especially after what he did to my Falcons last week. I said this last week, these teams this time of year, they peaking. They're getting better. They're not going to get any worse. It's enough film out for guys to see what your tendencies are and what you do. And guys like Tom, Aaron Rodgers, this when they get hot this time of the year, they the guys that figure that out.
There's a chance, right? The Bucks are 9-3. There's a chance Aaron Rodgers still they can still
9-3 or 8-3, right?
They're 9-3.
Okay.
The Packers are 9-3, Bucks 9-3, Cardinals are 10-2. So there's a chance that the Cardinals win out.
Yeah.
Maybe do give it to Kyler Murray then. I don't know. He sat out a couple games. I'm not sure if he could get there. The only one I see really getting there is Aaron Rodgers. But they have to have, I don't think just one game better than the Bucks gets them there. I think they got to go, probably two. They probably got to be 2 games better than the Bucks to get in. They probably got to be the 1 seed out of the NFC for sure.
Yeah, definitely got to be on 1 seed coming out of the NFC. But the NFC is so stacked, man. Like, I cannot wait to see how this play out there. I'm gonna just say that. Like, between Arizona, Green Bay, and the Bucks and the Rams, like, how is this gonna all shape out?
Did you ever look at the MVP race when you were playing? When you were like, did you ever say to yourself, I want to win MVP?
I never had that goal. It was never an aspiration. I wonder why. It's more so about winning. When my name was thrown in the MVP conversation, I used to marvel at it. I loved it. Like, it's like
you're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. Just keep it up. Just keep it. I understood consistency.
Brady, check this out. Brady, 34 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 23.
Wow.
Why
did so much of a big disparity? Because Aaron missed a game.
Yep, he missed a game.
Maybe 3 or 4. That's like
it's about to be a weather issue too. So Stafford's second. Stafford's got 30. So LA and Tampa Bay. He's balling. He's doing pretty darn well. I think he's taking advantage of the new situation. That's for sure. Yeah. I personally, I would like to see, like, I wish Josh Allen would have won that game. I would have liked to see this a little bit of a 2-man race, but I'm with you. I don't see how anyone but Tom Brady wins this. Like, if I'm betting Tom Brady versus the field, I'm taking Tom Brady.
And look at Tom Brady's schedule. Look at the schedule.
Because he's in the NFC South right now. That's a runaway, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man.
It's not like the Saints are going to slow him down. Did they get the Falcons? Who cares who they get? If they're going to get the rest of that division, he's going to win.
Panthers, that's a dub. Oh man.
The dub, not only a dub with a couple touchdowns and hot weather. So he doesn't have, worst case, he might get some hurricane weather. But that MVP race, you got to hear it from here first. Mike Vick, Dave Anderson, both heavy on Tom Brady. Next up for us, Mike. I like talking about the betting academy all the time because the majority of the time I'm teaching you. We had both of us learned a little something last week about basketball.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I think I enjoy most about this industry right now is they're creating new bets. Some I thought I've seen, but new parlays, new props that really engage the audience, give you something else to think about. Right now, you can bet on which division you think will have a Super Bowl winner.
Wow. That's cool though, man.
Which division? Now, before you answer this, so I'll let you think about this. History question. I failed. Which division has won the most NFC titles? I'm sorry. Which division has won the most Super Bowl titles?
You know, I'm thinking Steelers, Cowboys, Niners over the years. NFC, without a doubt.
NFC. Okay. Which division within the NFC?
The NFC West.
Incorrect. NFC East.
Oh, NFC East.
Dallas, New York, Washington, and Philly. The NFC East is the only division that all 4 teams have won a Super Bowl.
Really?
How about that?
Wow. I was thinking
13.
The NFC North with Chicago and
Green Bay's got 4. Chicago's only got 1. You got the NFC West, which has 7. Not a bad guess. San Francisco with 5, LA with 1, Seattle with 1. You got the AFC East as actually the second place because of the Patriots. You got New England, Miami with 2, and New York with 1. Here's our question. Who we betting on this year? Which division would you bet on? Not AFC or NFC, which specific division?
NFC South.
You're taking the Bucks. I think
or the NFC West.
See, but look, here's the thing about this. The worst odds are the AFC South. Makes sense.
Okay.
The second worst are the NFC East and the AFC North. So no one believes in the Ravens. No one believes NFC East. No one believes at Dallas. See, but I think Dallas could get hot. I think they could get hot come play. Like if Dallas wins these next 3 games, finishes out their season, what would they be with 3 wins? 3 wins, they would be NFC conference. They'd be 11 and 4.
Yep.
Nope. They play 16, 17 games. They can win 5. They can be 13 and 4. It's crazy to see 13 and 4 record. You're so used to seeing 13.
Yeah,
but anyway, that is a hot team. You get over 12 wins in a season. I don't care if you have 17 games. That is a good season.
Yeah, that's a good season.
That's a good season. I don't know. I think you're right. I think it's hard not to bet on the NFC South. The AFC East has got a couple plus 350. I'm thinking you place your bets on the AFC West and the NFC South. That's where I'm going with my money. But Mike, now we're going to talk about something that really matters to both of us. You beat Ray Lewis. Congratulations in fantasy football.
I did. I was watching the ticker. And I got him. I ain't even need New England defense last night.
Now I lost again. But it's okay because everyone below me lost. You know, it's one of those where it's okay. I didn't shift down. That's fine. It's like if you're, Georgia, you're still going to be in the championship even though you lost. Or at least I'm hoping. I lost to Commissioner Tate Leabu, who, by the way, another shout out to his podcast. Did you see he has the 5-Star Recruit podcast out there?
Nah.
I listened to it last night. My wife was gone.
Check it out.
You should check it out. Talk about the 5-star and the basketball, the history of the 5-star basketball camp, which I thought was pretty cool. But I was hoping he was busy looking that instead of his what do you call it, fantasy team, but he was not. Right now, Michael, congratulations. Paul, Tate, KG, and Mike Vick have all clinched playoff berths, and there's 2 left. I'm number 5. I'm number 5. Now, what's interesting, Mike, if you really want to pay attention, it's you versus Paul Pierce. So here's what you need to do. Since you clinched some playoff spots, you need to go start recruiting for the playoffs. You got to go pick up some guys that might be fringe players. Okay. Should a team sit a guy out week 16 or 17? Okay. Right. This is where I've seen guys win. Is they knew that, like, if the Bucks are having a whatever, if they're going to sit Tom Brady in the last game of the season or something like that, or if it's Dallas, they're going to sit Ezekiel Elliott, you go pick up the backup so that they can't get him. Gotcha. Not even for you to play him, so that no one else can get him. Because let me tell you what, there are no good running backs out there right now. Like, I'm amazed that Paul Pierce is still winning because he lost Derrick Henry. He's probably the only one in fantasy football history that has ever done that. So you got Paul Pierce. I got to beat Marissa Coleman in the WNBA superstar to get into the playoffs. I might play you, depends on points for, points against, but this is actually getting me jacked up because I'm out of every other fantasy league except this one. The one with my boys from high school, I shit the bed there. That's not ending well. And my other one with my Texan friend, I play with there's like 12 of us former Houston Texan players that are on one. That's fun to talk crap, especially when the first Texan drafted was Brandon Cooks in the 19th round. But we won't get there. We got to introduce our all-in pick of the week here. After fantasy, we always go all in. But instead of doing our typical all-in, we got a brand new segment here, Mike. Now, we got our first brand endorsement. Do you know how important this is? Look how big this is. Off Hours. Whiskey, straight bourbon whiskey. The bottle says, "We believe a great bourbon is for every occasion. It's for celebrating life's small wins." So I thought that was a perfect thing. You got a nice small win in fantasy. I'm hoping for another one. We got to pour ourselves a little glass. So you don't have one out there, but I've already gotten into it a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead, do your thing. I'll get there. I'll catch up.
I got a shot glass for me. Cheers to Off Hours. I don't know. You said you've been getting into more whiskey. Okay. Here's what I like about it. What do they say on one bite? Everyone knows the rules. One sip. One sip. Everyone knows the rules.
Go down that thing.
Yeah.
Down that thing, Dave.
So it wraps around.
Okay.
The top of your mouth and into your nose.
All right.
Nicely.
The way it's supposed to.
Nicely. Exactly where it's supposed to be. It doesn't sit in the back. It doesn't dwell there.
Palate.
I like it how it comes right off the palate. It's got enough sweetness to it
I can't wait.
that you can drink it fast or slow.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't suggest shooting this though. I would suggest drinking this. You can shoot this, but it doesn't taste like a cheap drink that you just want to get rid of.
That's what's up.
I like this.
Okay.
I like this.
Gotta savor the moment.
We are going to savor the moment. And part of our off hours.
One of the off hours, man.
So for this segment, Mike, we're answering questions from our fans.
Let's do it.
There's only one rule about off hours. It's not about work. So this is about anything but the X's and O's. This is strictly off the field because we're off the hours. Yep. So if you want, you can DM your questions at Gaming Society on the Instagram box or the Twitter box. We have some questions that we ask from regular listeners, as well as, let me not lie, ourselves. Ugh. Gotta really get it.
You're right, Dave. Get it right, baby.
I got our first question. All right, Mike. We're gonna ask you first. What advice would you give kids if they wanted to play football?
I would say make sure that you're ready physically. because in your mind, you want to get out there and play. And you got aspirations of playing football. If you might not want to play on a professional level, but drink your milk, lift your weights, do your push-ups, and by the time you go out there, you're physically ready to play. That's the part that's real overwhelming, and that's the part that make kids not want to come back. The physical part of it, getting tackled or having to tackle. So you just make sure you're ready for that, and you'll be okay.
I would say the one thing I regret and that I would tell a kid is learn how to tackle and be tackled. So along the same lines of being ready to be physical, which I completely agree with. Once you're ready, that is, in my opinion, the only skill of the game. Otherwise, if you're an athlete, football is a place for you. And I would say not only that, in terms of people skills, learning how to be a part of a team, learning that what you do might not feel like it affects what's really going on, but it does. That is a life skill that I have taken with me everywhere. And I would say I only learned that in football. Every other sport, one person can dominate a game, win a game, can't do that in football.
Yep.
All right. If you could take one musician with you on a cross-country trip, who are you taking?
I'm taking Jay-Z. Now I'm taking Jay-Z because I mean, who don't want to conversate with Jay-Z or no doubt. Post it up with Jay-Z.
You don't even have to. You said one question. One question. You're halfway across the country.
Yeah, it's all Jay-Z's success, and you told stuff for that. But just in general, a man who just transcended entertainment and means so much to so many people culturally. I got a lot of respect for Jay-Z.
It has like a caramel. It has like a caramel in there.
Oh, nice. Damn.
There's like a.
Don't do that, man. Come on, Dave.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not too smoky that if you didn't want to mix it with something, you could.
Yeah.
But you can if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would I take on a cross-country trip? My neighbor.
What?
Kendrick Lamar.
For real?
Kendrick Lamar lives like 5 blocks from where I do. I saw him. He brought it. So I play basketball at what's called, you can look it up, Live Oak Park in Manhattan Beach. It's like a really secluded, cool little basketball court. It's always a good run.
Yeah.
Guys come from all over to play. And Kendrick comes out there with 4 people. So he wanted to run. And it was like Kendrick, he had his own 5. He came out with his own 5. So he waited 2 games and they played and they won. So it was funny watching all of them play basketball because he had some ringers in there. They're obviously hooping. But I chatted him up for a little bit. He lives like 4 streets over. And just that him being from Southern California, being where I'm from, growing up in an same place, talking about stories that I remember, things. I obviously we come from extremely different backgrounds, but at least having the same kind of like history and geographical kind of where we started from, where we came up from was kind of similar areas. So I thought he'd be a really cool one to chat up cross country. I would pick Kendrick Lamar, but then again, if we are going cross country, you might want to pick a female. Beyonce wouldn't be too bad to have in the passenger seat for about 40 hours. You know what? So.
I don't want to.
But if you got Jay-Z, I'll be in the next car.
Yeah. I don't want Jay-Z coming after me. Yeah, call my wife.
Well, a big shout out to Off Hours Bourbon.
Yep.
I think that, Mike, we're going to get you out straight bourbon whiskey, Off Hours. I like the logo. I like the bottle. I like the taste. I like the aftertaste. I like all what's about there. I really like this podcast, Mike. Week 14. I'm going to ask you quick, though.
Yeah.
All in bets. NFL Week 14. We got to pick one. We didn't get one in here. NFL Week 14. I'm just going to read you off real fast.
Let's get it.
The Week 14 picks. You
get
got
right this week.
Steelers Vikings on Thursday Night Football. You got Saints Jets, Falcons Panthers, Seahawks Texans, Raiders Chiefs, Ravens Browns, Cowboys Washington, Jaguars Titans, Giants Chargers, Lions Broncos, Niners Bengals, Bills Bucks, good game, Bears Packers, Rams Cardinals, another good game. I'm not going to read you the odds because I think you'll pick one and then we'll adjust from there because I think you should know the odds by now. Favorites are always 3, 7s, and 10s, depending how much they are. You pretty much guess these days.
Yeah, I'm going to take the, let me see. I'll take the Packers over the Bears.
Packers over the Bears. I like that. I'm gonna go with the astonishing one. I'm gonna go Rams over Cardinals. You heard it here first. Rams over Cardinals, Packers over Bears. I'm David Anderson. That's Mike Vick. Thank you, guys. Week 14. We're out. Make sure to sign up and subscribe at thegamingsociety.com and hit that follow button at The Gaming Society on all social platforms.